Chris Buescher and RFK kind of win their appeal for their penalty from Kansas. Let's talk about the viewership that NASCAR got on Prime on Sunday night, plus Formula One's viewership. And is it time to scrap the Roval? Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. So the Indianapolis 500, their viewership was higher this year than the Daytona 500. Obviously, both of them rain delayed. The Indy 500 by about 45 minutes, the Daytona 500 by a couple of hours, so that definitely played a factor into it, but it was only the third time in the last 30 years that the Indy 500 beat out the Daytona 500. Well, they put out the list of the most watched markets, and the Indianapolis market got a 22. That's insane. That's one of every four people basically in Indianapolis was watching the Indianapolis 500 on TV, which is exactly why they need to lift that archaic blackout, because they still sold out the Speedway and they still got a ton of people in Indianapolis to watch. Also, Louisville coming in second. Once again, somebody give the people of Kentucky an IndyCar race at this point. Go back to Kentucky Speedway. Do a street race in Louisville. Do something. They're very into IndyCar as well. So is Dayton, Ohio. Dayton's weird. Some southern cities getting in the mix as well. Greenville and Greensboro, both in the mix in the top 10, as well as Tulsa and a couple of others. So regardless, really good showing by the Indy 500. Now, let's get into what we want to talk about. We're going to start off with the big news of Wednesday, and that being Chris Buescher and Roush Keselowski Racing partially won their appeal from their Kansas penalty. They didn't win all of it, but they did get some of it back. So that 60-point penalty that they had, that has been halved to only 30 points. Then they still have to serve everything else about it. So that's really the only thing that changed. They got 30 points back, but that's really good for Chris Buescher. He goes from being 36 points below the cutoff line to 6 points below the cutoff line. His season rejuvenated just on a random Wednesday afternoon before they get ready to head to Nashville. Everything else about his penalty, they still have to serve it. $75,000 fine, got to pay that. His crew chief being suspended 2 weeks, got to do that. He did already serve that as well. And the 5 playoff points. Yeah, those are still gone on top of it. But got 30 points back for both owners and drivers, which is a big time win for them. So the appeals panel said, quote, "The panel concluded that NASCAR met its burden of proof regarding the reinforcement of the front bumper cover, but did not meet it regarding the trimming of the exhaust panel. The rulebook regarding the exhaust panel trimming lacks specificity on the amount trimmed or not trimmed. Accordingly, the panel reduced the owner and driver points penalty from 60 to 30 points. So essentially saying, hey, yeah, the bumper area, that was still illegal. You guys still mess with that. Can't do that. However, the exhaust panel area, which is another thing they got flagged for, there's no rule saying how much you can and cannot trim from that. So you can't issue a penalty for it, thus giving them back half of their points that they took away. So for Chris Buescher, that rejuvenates his entire season, right? That puts him right back into the hunt of pointing his way in to the playoffs. Yeah, obviously he would like those additional 30 points. He'd be 24 points above the cutoff and be sitting pretty happy, at least, not as worried as he is. But 6 points is way easier to overcome than 36. So hopefully he's able to rebound and put together some good runs for he and that RFK team, because this has been a shot in the arm for them, right? They're right back into the action here, and now we'll see if they can capitalize on it or not. But for now, they're in the hunt. All right, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, that being NASCAR ratings and viewership, along with Formula One as well for a moment. But NASCAR had its first ever Cup Series race exclusively on a streaming platform for the first time on Sunday night at the Coke 600, and they got 2.72 million people to tune in to watch that race. A really strong number for their first ever race on a streaming platform, down from last year's 3.1 million that was on Network Fox. But again, comparing a streaming platform to network is not really going to work. It's apples and oranges, apples and bananas, however you want to describe that. They're not comparable. It's more comparable to take Prime and compare it to the cable numbers from this year. And when you compare it to FS1's cable numbers, it's right there in line, if not a tick better than what they've done on cable. So that's a win for NASCAR right now. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, this is how NASCAR kills itself. It goes to a streaming platform. The numbers should have been bigger. I was told that Prime, more people, 2 to 3 times more people have Prime than cable. No. First off, wrong. That's not true. There are more people that have Prime than cable in this country, but it's not 2 to 3x. It's about like 80 million have Prime, 60 million have cable, somewhere in that range there. You're talking about a streaming platform, so it's a shift from broadcast partner to broadcast partner. 2.72 million people is a really strong number. And the demo got younger. It went from an age of 62 down to 56 on Prime. And that is something NASCAR has desperately been chasing, a younger audience. And now 56 isn't the youngest audience in the world, but trending about 6 years younger is a big time win for them because they need to attract new fans, and going to a streaming partner like Prime is a way to do that. And for their first race together, yeah, I think that's a super strong number. It's better than what some of the projections were. Steve Phelps said last year or earlier this year that he thought that the number would be somewhere in the ballpark of what their cable numbers are. And that's exactly what this is, if not, like I said, a little bit better. Same thing with the NFL. When the NFL went over to Prime, their first year, things were abysmal on, Thursday Night Football compared to their other numbers. But as more people understood where it was at, where to find it, how good the broadcast is, that number has slowly crept up. But it has also been a younger audience as well. And that's what NASCAR is hoping to do here, is get that younger audience. And overall, the production value on Prime is phenomenal. I cannot wait to watch Sunday's race at Nashville. Now, of course, you're still going to have all the people out there that are like, I couldn't find it. I'm not paying for it. If I'm paying for it, why do I have commercials? Well, one, you pay for cable, so there's that. Two, you pay for cable and it still has commercials, so I don't know what the difference is there. Three, it's incredibly easy to find. It was literally on the front page banner of Amazon.com on Sunday for everybody to see. So yeah, it's not that difficult to get. But naturally, there's always naysayers out there, which is fine. NASCAR definitely taking a step in the right direction here. We can't just still sit around with our stone tablets and bang into that tablet all of the words that we want to do. We need to move on eventually. Cable is fine. Network is fine. But streaming platforms are certainly where there's a ton of people at, because not everybody wants to sign up for cable anymore. YouTube TV just keeps raising rates. Why people have Spectrum, I have no idea. Prime, $15 a month. And they gave you a free 30-day trial too. So if you skip the Coke 600, guess what? If you sign up on Sunday, you'll be able to watch the next 4 races that are on Prime before it moves to TNT for free. You won't have to pay for them. You'll have to worry about, that'll be an issue next year. And this time next year, we'll have people being like, I ain't paying for it because I already used a free trial. Completely ignoring the fact that you can just get another email address, right? Like, let's be honest here. Work the system if you really care about it. So that was a great number for NASCAR. Excited to see what the number is for Nashville and their subsequent races after that. On the other side of the pond, in Monaco, that race was shown on ABC, network television here in the United States, and got its biggest viewership ever for a Formula One race in the United States. 2.6 million people tuned in to watch a very expensive parade around the streets of Monaco, where there was a single on-track pass, I believe, for position, that coming from, of all people, Lance Stroll. The rest of that race, yeah, not very good. It was actually incredibly boring. I watched the first 2 laps of it from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I was like, all right, Lando's going to win, so there's no sense in watching this any further. But the fact that it got 2.6 million viewers is great for motorsports in this country. I have no issue with that whatsoever. So, strong weekend all around for every motorsport out there. Hopefully that trend can continue and everybody keeps tuning in to watch motorsports. Motorsports is becoming cool again, right? So that's great. Last topic of the day, should Charlotte Motor Speedway consider scrapping the Roval in favor of the Oval for their fall playoff date? I think the easy answer is absolutely yes. I mean, it's a no-brainer at this point. Should the Bengals bring back Jamar Chase? Yeah. Who is saying no to that one? Yeah, no, I think it absolutely has to happen, because the Roval was brought in 2018. Because the Gen 6 car didn't really race well on intermediates, but it raced really well on road courses. Brought in, raced super well, gave us some of these wild moments. The first year, you had Jimmy Johnson taking out Martin Truex Jr. in that front stretch chicane on the last lap, Ryan Blaney slipping by for the win. You had Chase Elliott stuffing it in the tires and then driving back and winning the race there. There's been some moments that have happened at the Roval, but with the Gen 7 car, it races really well on road courses, and some fans don't think it's as entertaining as the old Gen 6 races, but the Gen 7 car races really well on the oval, putting in absolute banger races. So when you watch the oval race happen in the spring, a Memorial Day weekend for the Coke 600, and then you're like, man, we come back in the fall, we're not going to see this good of racing. We're going to see the Roval, this Frankenstein creation of Marcus Smith that's half oval, half Roval, and we created a hybrid here. Unlike a Wolf hybrid, I'm not scared of it, or I'm not standing off being like, I don't know, man, that thing might actually jump out and kill me. The Roval is fine. It's got some walls that are closed, but for the most part, I think it's run its course at this point. I went to the Roval last year for both the Xfinity race and the Cup Series race, and I wished it was the oval the entire time. Now, if Charlotte wants to host the championship race, which of course NASCAR is going to rotate the championship race here starting in 2026, they're going to have to race on the oval because they're not going to race on a road course. They've already said they won't have the championship race on the road course, and Charlotte certainly would love to host that championship weekend, right? So they may be forced into going back to the oval there. Somebody on the internet mentioned that maybe we should just do the road course for the Coke 600 on Memorial Day weekend. No, absolutely not. It needs to be in the fall. It needs to be on the oval. But I understand the predicament around it because NASCAR is going to want a road course in the playoffs, right? They want a little bit of diversity. We go to every type of track in the playoffs, and not having a road course in there, that's not indicative of, the rest of the season. There needs to be a road course in the playoffs. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, no, it doesn't. We have too many road courses as it stands now. 6 is way too many. 6 is literally a 6 of the schedule. You have 30 other non-road course races. We're perfectly fine with 6 road courses. 6 road courses is good. I don't think we need to go to 7, 8, 9, nothing like that. But 6 is a pretty solid amount because you're still getting 30 more points-paying races on ovals. 32 if you count the Clash and the All-Star race. So I think we've got our oval fixed down for the most part. But they still need to have a road course in the playoffs. And right now, that's the purpose that the Roval has, even if they keep, changing around the layout and trying to make it more chaotic than it actually needs to be. So I'm all in favor of moving it back to the oval in the fall. I wish it was doing it this year. We'll have to see how the 2026 schedule plays out. I understand Marcus and everybody at SMI not wanting to do it because right now it attracts 2 different types. You get a variety, right? You get the oval in the spring and you get the road course in the fall. You're not kind of pigeonholed into just the oval race. But when the oval races really well, maybe the first or second best racing, intermediate right now in the Cup Series, it's hard to be like, yeah, we got to keep doing this road course that nobody seemingly likes for the most part. So I'm interested to see how that sort of plays out, what type of discussions NASCAR is going to have with SMI, if any, about doing anything. But I hope we get to see the oval in the fall come back again in the not so distant future. So let me know in the comments what you thought about Buescher getting his penalty overturned, the viewership from the prime coverage at the Coke 600, as well as scrap the Roval for the oval in the fall. Let me know what your thoughts are. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok at BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BreakHardBlog.